Hey, this is Jackie McLaughlin, Platinum with Young Living, and I was asked to do a recording on the fear of being salesy in your Young Living journey. And I did it on a group called Hustle with Grace, and I decided it would be a good thing to do and record so that we can find it easily and keep it in our files. So everybody has this objection. I'm the world's worst at not wanting to be salesy. Okay, so if I go into a store and the salesperson's following me around trying to sell me something, I'm out the door. So I understand that. I am that person. I don't want to be salesy either. And the beautiful thing is, if you want to be successful in Young Living, we don't want you to be salesy. Okay, so if you're going to have success building a Young Living business, salesy is the last thing we want you to be. So you can just get rid of that fear right off the bat, because we're going to teach you how to share Young Living and not be salesy. And I'm going to go over a few points here with the process and how that works. So first of all, understand nobody wants to be salesy. You're not unique in that, okay? So it's okay. It's totally okay, and it's actually a good thing, because we don't want you to be salesy. Your objective, rather than to sell someone something, is to make their life better, okay? Is to help them find things that are going to improve their lives, okay? That's not being salesy. That's helping people, right? So the first step when you're talking to a prospect or someone that you're introducing to Young Living is to remove the pressure. And what does that mean? There's no pressure for them to buy anything. And how do we do that? If you are not attached to the end result being that someone buys a kit or signs up, if you're not attached to that as your end result, then you've just removed the pressure. Because if your purpose or your objective is to help them find things that are going to improve their life, you're not focused on selling them a kit. You're helping them find solutions, okay? So don't be attached to your end result needs to be they sign up, okay? Just let that go and take your time. You want to develop a process, and what does that look like? And so you start with introducing yourself to someone, and they maybe ask you, what do you do? And your answer to that question, rather than being something like, well, I help people use essential oils to feel better or just live a better life or whatever. You've already come across a little bit salesy, because you're talking about essential oils and they are going to pick up on the fact that you're trying to get them to buy something. So a better answer for that question would be something like, I help people find ways to live a better life. Or maybe even you could say something like, I like to help educate people on the chemical onslaught in the environment we live in, and help them find ways to at least make their homes less of an environmental assault on their body, okay? And that's very vague, but it gives them an idea of what it is you do. And if they're interested in that, they're going to ask more questions. And if they're not, just let it go and just make a friend. Because over time, if you make a friend, you're going to get other opportunities. So don't keep pushing if they're not showing an interest. And that's what we call taking your time, okay? The next part is the discovery process. This is where you find out what other people's needs are. What are their pain points? Where do they need help in their life? And you do that by asking questions. And here's where people seem to struggle, and some of them totally miss the boat. When you ask somebody a question, your job is to zip it and listen. Because if you ask a question and someone starts to answer and you interrupt them, or you start interjecting your thoughts and they haven't even finished theirs, you're not listening to anything. You're too busy trying to tell them what you think. Your objective is to get to know this person, and the only way you're going to get to know them is by listening. So asking questions that get them talking about themselves is how you learn what people's pain points are, is how you learn where people need help, where they need something in their life to make it better. And the only way you find that out is by asking questions and listening, letting them talk. This brings us to the solution part, because once you get them talking and you start to get a picture of where the needs are in their life, it's going to help you know which way to go in introducing them to Young Living. So you need to understand your premium starter kits and what's the benefit of each one. They're very different. You don't have to sign everybody up with an oils kit and a diffuser. That's the best deal as far as money goes, yes. And oftentimes, if that's what people are looking for is just the best deal money-wise, then start there. But if you're really trying to help people address their most urgent needs, you need to understand that maybe the oils kit isn't where they should start. Maybe you're talking to an athlete that works out really hard, and because working out creates free radicals in the body. Free radicals make the body stressed, to put it very simply. And Ninja Red is the best thing you can do for them. Is all the infusion of antioxidants combats all those free radicals, and you help them get a better state of health. Because over time, all those free radicals break down their health. So if you're talking to an athlete, you don't need to sell them an oils kit with a diffuser. You want to get them on Ninja Red. Or maybe you're talking to somebody who you realize in talking to them that they use scented candles and plug-ins, and they have chemical household cleaners, and their house is a chemical you-know-what storm. The best thing you can do for them right off the bat is get them started with a thieves kit. So understanding people and getting to know them is going to help you know which kit is the best fit for them to get the most bang for their buck right away. It doesn't mean that you don't want to help introduce them to the oils and the other products, but you got to start with what is going to address their most urgent need first. So understanding your kits is going to help you not come across as salesy, because you're recommending the kit, excuse me, that's going to address their needs the fastest. So that's going to allow you to close with confidence, because you know if the kit that you're recommending is absolutely going to address a need they have, you're going to be confident about helping them get that kit and get started and go forward from there. So that's closing with confidence, because you're confident that what they're investing in is going to be beneficial to them. So the next thing, and it kind of goes back to what we were saying about discovering people's needs, is to let the prospect do the talking by asking great open-ended questions that gets them to open up and help you into their lives. And you want to make them feel comfortable, or they're not going to do that. And how do you make them feel comfortable? Well, first of all, smile, relax, and don't be this pushy person. Be interested in them. Stop trying to be interesting. This is the biggest mistake I see people make, especially at like networking groups and so forth, is people get up and they give their little elevator speech to tell everybody what they do, and they're trying to be interesting. Nobody cares how interesting you are. They care about what they need. So if you can be interested in others when you tell people who you are and what you do, you're going to get much further than if you're trying to be interesting. Another example is somebody who's trying to be interesting is someone who's trying to impress you with all they know. So you might know tons about oils. I know a ton about essential oils and Young Living products. I've been doing this 15 years. But if I'm talking to somebody and I'm just fire hosing them with all my knowledge, I'm not being interested. I'm projecting that I'm trying to be interesting. So be interested in them. You'll have your opportunity to help them with your knowledge later. This is not the time for that. So remember to be interested, not interesting. And then focus on their problems, not your product. So once you discover what their pain points are, you are going to point them to products, but you want to know more about their needs and their pain points. That will lead you to the products, yes, but don't lead with the products and hope you've hit one of their pain points, okay? So focus on that first, and then help them find solutions with your products. So you've probably heard this example over and over again. Selling makes the world go round. It really does. Everything in our society is built on commerce. People wouldn't have jobs if things weren't being sold. Even if you work in manufacturing, you're part of the process that ends up in a sale somewhere. You may not be the salesperson, but you're part of a process of selling. There's nothing bad about that, and you need to get over it, because that's what does make the world go round, okay? Be proud to be part of a process that's helping people's lives. And quit looking at selling as a negative. Now, you don't want to be pushy and salesy in that regard. Absolutely. We do not want that. But if you're using being salesy as a reason for not going forward to sharing and living with others, that's just an excuse. And what that means is one of two things. First of all, if you're sharing with other people, and you're hearing people right off the bat when you talk to them about sharing with other people, and the first thing they say to you is, I don't want to be salesy. Maybe that's because you were pushy and salesy, and they felt that, and you modeled that to them, and now they think that's the way it's done. So the first order of business is to make sure you're not that way, and learn to be a good listener and be interested. And then know your product and how to help people find the best deal for them. If you've done all that, you've not been pushy or salesy, and that will come across. So if you're modeling that and they are still coming up with saying, I don't want to be salesy, the real thing they're telling you is, I don't know what to do next. I don't know how to do that. And that's where you come in. That's your job, is to help show them. So if you're hearing the objection, I don't want to be salesy, first look and see if you're being that way. And if you're not, then understand that that's just their way of telling you, I don't know where to go or how to do this. And your job is to help them. So I hope this has been helpful. And I wanted to say one thing else. Introducing people to essential rewards is not being salesy at all. As a matter of fact, if someone does say to you, I want to improve my life, I want to get rid of all the chemical onslaught that I've been exposing myself to, you may start them with the thieves kit, but guess what? They've got a whole lot more. And the best way for you to introduce them to that is through essential rewards. So you're going to help them replace their shampoo and their conditioner and their body lotion and their skincare and their makeup now and all these other things gradually over time each month. Minimum 50 PV. If they're not sharing with others and they're just buying for themselves, all they need is a 50 PV order. And anybody is going to find that that is a good deal expense-wise. They're spending way more than $50 on all that stuff that's not good for them. You're going to show them how to buy product that is good for them and buy it from their own wholesale account and save money and do it a little bit at a time until they get rid of all the stuff they don't want. And if you don't introduce people to essential rewards because you're afraid of being salesy, you're doing them a huge disservice, because you're not helping them save the most money and getting the most bang for their buck, or taking the most advantage of all that's available to them in their wholesale account. So if you're worried about being salesy, get over it, because you're not, if you're doing it the right way. If you're being interested and not interesting, you will never be salesy. I hope this has been helpful. And until next time, ciao.